From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, federal government links attack on worshippers in Owo to ISWAP fighters. INEC reminds political parties on adherence to election timetable. First set of intending pilgrims depart for pilgrimage after 2 years' absence. And on the foreign scene, 7th missing miner found dead in Burkina Faso mine months after flooding. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV tonight. I am Eugenia Abu. Preliminary investigations have revealed that terror cells linked to the deadly Islamic State in the West Africa province, ISWAP, executed last Sunday's attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State. It is one of the issues discussed at Thursday's National Security Council meeting convened by President Muhammadu Buhari at State House, Abuja. Kehinde Amodu now reports.
The whole weight rests on the shoulders of members of the National Security Council as they converge on the council chambers of State House, Abuja. Insiders say President Buhari is very unhappy that the recent attack in Owo, Ondo State slipped past security agents. Investigations after the fact have revealed some rather weighty information.
We are zeroing in on ISWAP, the Islamic State for West Africa. It is not an ethno-religious thing. The animals in ISWAP wanting attention and recognition are suspected to have launched that attack.
It can be ISWAP, it can be any other thing. It is an act of terrorism that can be seen from all angles. The Honorable Minister said ISWAP. ISWAP is just it's a suspicion. He said it is suspicion. There is a lot high suspicion that it is an act of the ISWAP.
Government is insisting that the Owo attack did not have any ethnic or religious reasons.
There is no ethnic agenda here. There is no religious agenda here. Pure cowardly criminals are involved in this to precipitate crisis that will suit their own fancy and objective.
It means they cannot look away from the mob attacks which have occurred in Sokoto and the Federal Capital Territory in the name of blasphemy.
The police has been directed to mobilize, identify and prehend all those involved in the blasphemy attacks in two areas of the country, namely Sokoto and Abuja of recent.
The victims of the Kaduna-Abuja train attacks are still a sore point for the federal government. But if the Inspector General of Police is to be believed, they will soon be released by their captors. Away from crime and conflict, President Buhari has directed the deployment of adequate security personnel and apparatus for the forthcoming Osun and Ekiti state elections. The police will be deploying over 17,000 personnel to Ekiti State for elections coming up on the 18th of this month. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
In the meantime, the death toll in the attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State has risen to 40, with 26 survivors discharged from hospitals days after the incident. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State disclosed this when he hosted a team of Catholic bishops from the southwest led by Most Reverend Leke Abeguni on Wednesday. A statement issued by the governor's chief press secretary, Richard Olatunde, quoted Akeredolu as saying the latest figure followed an update from the medical team led by the Commissioner for Health. According to the Ondo leader, the new figure followed the harmonization of reports from the various hospitals, including the private ones, urging people to disregard earlier figures. He also disclosed that the government is accepting donations from individuals and groups who want to help the families of the victims, adding that the move became imperative following a series of calls from several quarters. Police in Ondo State deny a report on attacks on the Hausa community in Sabo area of the state. A statement signed by police spokesman Odunlami Fumilayo said that there was no reprisal attack on the Hausa community at Sabo area in Ondo town or any part of the state. The statement explained that what happened on Tuesday, June 7th, was an attempted robbery on a J5 vehicle with plate number MKA 469YJ carrying onions and potatoes coming from Zaria, heading to Ore, which had a stopover at Ondo town, but was attacked by gunmen. The statement said the robbers shot the driver while the motorboy escaped with bullet injuries. A motorcyclist and a passerby were also hit by stray bullets. The police insist that the victims involved in the failed robbery are from Yoruba, Igbo, and Northern extraction. Sarkin Hausawa of Ondo State, Abdul Salam Yusuf, has however told Daily Trust that 5 people were killed in Sabo, an area predominantly occupied by Northerners, when the gunmen struck. Families of passengers abducted in the ill-fated Abuja-Kaduna train have dismissed as false news circulating in the social media of the purported release of the passengers. In a short statement released by Abdul Fattah Jimo and Baba Muhammad, the relatives of the victims asked members of the public to disregard the story. Meanwhile, a relative of one of the victims, Sani Lawal, says the purported story is false but hopes to reunite with their loved ones as soon as they regain freedom.
Well, it's unfortunate, and let me say it categorically, it's a lie. There's no truth about it, and nothing of such happened. Our loved ones are still with their kidnappers. I mean, those that hold them, they are still with them. I don't know how it even comes out about this story. It's very, very disturbing because we have gone far. We are hoping for this thing to end soon, but unfortunately this has put us in a tight corner. We would like to appeal to whoever has hand in this issue to publicly deny it, because it's a lie, it's not true. All the 61 members that were held captive are still in the bush. They are not yet with us. We are hoping in the next couple of days, we are hoping for all of them to be released, inshallah. So I will still call on all good meaning Nigerians to continue with prayers. You know, inshallah they will be with us, and we would like to assure our relatives that no one is hiding any information regarding, you know, the release of our loved ones. We have been bombarded since yesterday on call from good-willing Nigerians asking us, congratulating us. Well, we are seeing the near end of this issue, inshallah.
Sani Lawal debunking social media reports that abducted victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack have been released. Kaduna State government says at least 32 people have been confirmed dead following Sunday's attack on Dogon Noma, Ungwansarki, and Ungwammekuri in Kajuru local government area. The State Commissioner, Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, in the latest security update on the incident, commiserated with families of victims of the attacks, which it described as gruesome, while debunking reports suggesting that the victims of the attack were killed by terrorists using a helicopter. The Kaduna State government explained that an Air Force helicopter under the Operation Well Punch dispatched to the area had earlier scanned the first 2 locations and sighted burnt houses and property on fire. He added that the helicopter intercepted the bandits at the last location and engaged them as they retreated before the arrival of ground troops to the general area. Arwan noted that the story that a helicopter provided air support to the bandits against the locals is an untrue story. The Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, has expressed worry over the rising cases of insecurity and killing of innocent Nigerians across the country. The NBA president, Olumide Akpata, stated this in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, during the meeting of the National Executive Council of the association, where he stressed the need for Nigerians to hold government accountable for failure to protect their lives and property. He noted that the recent killings of worshippers at a Catholic church in Owo, Ondo State, is worrisome. Government at all levels, he added, should step up and find solutions to the incessant killings in the country. A minute silence was observed for the repose of the souls of the deceased across the country.
The life of every Nigerian is equally precious, and the sooner that the government of the day realizes this and takes decisive action to protect and safeguard the lives of our people, the more likely it is that terrorists will not be deterred from attacking Nigerians. I must state without equivocation that notwithstanding one's religion or ethnicity, there are certain standards which we must all subscribe to. The first of these is that of the sanctity of life. The furore caused by the arbitrary killing which threw the entire nation into shock and disbelief had barely died down when we received news that gunmen had all gone ahead to kill at least 12 people, including a pregnant woman and her 4 children in a community in Anambra State. There is a Daily Trust newspaper report that claims that 121 Nigerians have been killed in 11 attacks in the last 5 months in Birnin Gwari alone. There could be no better illustration of the failure of security than this. Above all, the nation was horrified by the shocking news of the killing of worshippers in a Catholic church in Owo, Ondo State, by armed gunmen on Sunday the 5th of June 2022 during Mass. Governments at all levels to task to ensure that they step up and carry out their primary responsibility, which is to safeguard the lives and properties of Nigerians. This is all the more imperative as we approach another election season that characteristically witnesses a spike in insecurity challenges.
NBA President Olumide Akpata. Nigeria is set to celebrate June 12th Democracy Day despite challenges associated with democratic governance in the country. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, confirms the development at a press conference in Abuja to mark the beginning of the celebration of the nation's democratic journey. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that Nigeria has had over 30 years of civilian governments spread across 4 democratic dispensations, with the current one lasting for over 22 years. Here's that report.
Nigeria has had over 30 years of civilian governments spread across 4 democratic dispensations, with the current one lasting for over 22 years. There have been series of democratic transitions from elected government to another, but Nigerians say there is little or nothing to show for it.
It's the politics that brought Nigeria to this extent that does not make Nigeria look so scattered now.
If the National Assembly, they are there, and they couldn't discuss.
Insecurity, if there is insecurity in a country, the economy will surely go down.
Times are hard and there is no employment. Things have increased and increased and increased, and they are not increasing salary.
Those in power, however, have different opinion. To them, despite these challenges, the nation has a cause to celebrate.
As to whether we have a right to celebrate Democracy Day, because according to someone, democracy does not bring food on the table. I don't think whether military will bring food on the table, military or oppression. But I think I'm proud to be a Nigerian. I'm proud to be here today to celebrate Democracy Day. And I'm proud of my president that had the courage to declare June 12 Democracy Day.
Mohammed enumerates the plan to roll out the drums.
The following programs have been scheduled to celebrate the 2022 Democracy Day. A, this press conference, which actually officially starts the program of the activities. B, a public lecture is scheduled to hold tomorrow, Friday 10th June, at the National Mosque here in Abuja at 10 a.m. C, this will be followed on the same day and the same venue by a Jumat service at the same, at noon. On Sunday, June 12th, there will be a church service at the National Christian Center at 3 p.m.
Nigeria's Democracy Day was until recently celebrated on the 29th of May. President Muhammadu Buhari administration changed the day to honor the winner of the June 12 presidential election, led Mashood Kashimawo Abiola. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Politics now. Business mogul Prince Adewale Adebayo on Wednesday night clinched the presidential ticket of the Social Democratic Party SDP ahead of the 2023 general elections. Adebayo scored 1,526 votes to emerge as the party's standard bearer, defeating the only co-contestant, Khadija Adlamidi, who polled 83 votes. The party took advantage of the special convention to conduct other party activities in preparation for the general elections. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu now reports.
And other members of the party began with the election of national officers of the party through voice vote, who were later sworn in.
We have about 17 members of the National Working Committee of the party that will be affirmed. I want you to affirm each and every member of the National Working Committee individually.
The flag bearer and the runner-up speak at the event.
It is the affair of Nigerians and the affairs of the black people who are in search of great leadership. You have seen the alternatives. Nigerians have seen the alternatives. They have seen the left and the right robbing them blind, leaving them in insecurity and promoting poverty as an instrument of control. The question...
With great humility, I stand before you to invoke the future of our children and the hope of our nation. We are hundreds of tribes, many religions, many languages, all genders, and all ages, tied together by faith and history, and united in common hope and prayer. Our prayer is to live in peace and safety, to pursue our dreams and well-being, and to pass on to our children a legacy that is not stained with blood and corruption.
But Social Democratic Party is one of the oldest political parties in Nigeria and is often considered a third force after the two major political parties, the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And still staying with politics, in continuation of our series on the profiles of presidential flag bearers of political parties for the 2023 election, we shift attention to Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Abdul Latif Kola Abiola of the People's Redemption Party, PRP, and Prince Adebayo Adewale of the Social Democratic Party, SDP. Nana Mohammed, who has been profiling these candidates, now tells us more.
For the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is the candidate of the party. He was born on 21st October 1956. He was the governor of Kano State from 1999 to 2003 and 2011 to 2015. After he lost his re-election in 2003, he was appointed the first Minister of Defense of the Fourth Republic with no prior military background from 2003 to 2007 under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He was later elected to the Senate in 2015, serving one term under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and represented Kano Central Senatorial District. Kwankwaso unsuccessfully contested the presidential primaries nomination under the opposition All Progressives Congress, but lost to Muhammadu Buhari. In 2018, he returned to People's Democratic Party, PDP, and contested the presidential primaries, where he lost to Atiku Abubakar. Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso is the presidential presidential candidates of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, and the leader of the party he founded after dumping the PDP to pursue his 2023 presidential ambitions. Abdulateef Kola Abiola is the presidential flag bearer of the People's Redemption Party, PRP. Kola Abiola was born on the 1st of July 1962. He hails from Ogun, southwest Nigeria. Not much information is known about Kola Abiola aside from his family of MK Abiola, who won the June 12, 1993 presidential election. He now flies the flag of the People's Redemption Party, PRP. Prince Adebayo Adewale has emerged the presidential flag bearer of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, for the 2023 Nigerian presidential election. Adewale Adebayo was born on the 8th January 1972 from Ondo, southwest Nigeria. He is a Nigerian lawyer and founder of Kaftan TV. Adebayo was a public affairs commentator who provided advice on national issues. He participated in Nigerian politics as a member of the Third Force. On January 15, 2002, Adewale Adebayo declared his intention to run for the office of the Nigerian president. As election day draws nearer, Rabiu Musa Konkoso of the NNPP, Abdulateef Kola Abiola of PRP, and Adebayo Adewale of the SDP are contesting in the 2023 Nigerian presidential election. Nan Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned political parties that its candidate nomination portal for the 2023 general elections would automatically shut down at 6 o'clock in the evening on June 17 for national elections and 6 o'clock in the evening on July 15th for state elections. Chairman of the Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the warning at the Commission's meeting with resident electoral commissioners on Thursday in Abuja. Yakubu reminded political parties that all primaries for election of flag bearers for the 2023 elections will end on Thursday, June 9th, while all political parties are required to submit their list of candidates for presidential, vice presidential, senatorial, and House of Representative elections latest Friday, June 17th. According to him, the list of candidates for governorship and deputy governorship, as well as state houses of assembly, shall be uploaded from July 1st to July 15th, as already provided in the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general election, already released by the Commission. INEC said that only the names of candidates that emerge from democratic primaries as provided by Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022 shall be submitted to the Commission. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has congratulated Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his victory at the presidential primary election of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. The Vice President, in congratulatory message, which he signed personally, also congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari and all leaders of the APC for a successful special convention and presidential primary. He said the party's flag bearer had for many decades shown passion, patriotism, courage, and determination in the course of nation building and called on party faithful to rally around the flag bearer to enable the party win the general elections. Meanwhile, former Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi has also congratulated Bola Tinubu on his emergence as the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. In a statement he personally signed on Wednesday, Amechi, who came a distant second, pledged to support Tinubu in ensuring that the APC maintains its grip on power next year. Spokesman of Bola Tinubu campaign organization, Bayo Onanuga, has allayed fears of Nigerians on the state of health of the former Lagos State governor. A video has gone viral showing the hands of the APC presidential candidate shaking while reading acceptance speech at the just concluded National Convention. Speaking on Trust TV political program, Onanuga said that the candidate moved around the country to canvass for votes, suggesting that health is not a challenge for him.
That point has been debunked. Incidentally, his opponent, the major political party, that's PDP, Atiku Abubakar, is older in age. He's older, and Tinubu has also proven that, contrary to what people think, that it seems valid or whatever, he's able to move around the country to visit so many states, to canvass for votes and everything, and that has shown that it's not really, the health issue is not really a big problem. The problem he has is with, I think he did a knee surgery, so that knee surgery needs a lot of physiotherapy and so on for him to regain the normal use of his leg. So I'm sure after this, now that the primary is gone, I'm sure he will go for real physiotherapy. I've done something like that before. It took some months before you can ever get it back.
Bayo Onanuga, spokesman of the Bola Tinubu campaign organization. In the meantime, the issue of non-collection of permanent voter cards by registered voters continues to dominate political discourse as these cards dot INEC offices across the nation. The case is not different in Nasarawa State as residents have been reacting to the issue, especially as the 2023 elections draws closer with the attendant risk of a reduction in the number of votes. Abubakar Abdullahi's report is presented from our studio.
Democracy as government of the people thrives better with increased participation of the people. One of the ways of participating in the process is through voting, which is made possible by a voter's card. This means that without voter's card, one gets disenfranchised. Despite the importance of the PVC, which help this electorate to decide who governs them, many are yet to collect theirs, a situation that leaves many wondering why.
So they should be ashamed if they are alive and they refuse to come and claim their voter card. They should be ashamed of themselves. They don't have any right to complain about whatsoever governance that is going on, because you didn't participate in the process of selecting the person you think is good to lead you. Why will you complain? So I want to encourage them that some of us still believe that this country can still be better again. They should come forward, get their PVC.
And eligible voters need to be, sensitized more on the importance of having PVC and what PVC can do with regards to elections, how they can make a choice, have a voice in the electoral process. So I think that the democracy is still growing. What I would say now is for our government, especially those in charge of this electoral body, should do more when it comes to sensitization.
They also speak on the role of the electoral umpire in encouraging the citizens to present themselves for the collection of the PVCs.
In sensitizing the public, using the media to sensitize the public and ensure that, because I want to believe every voter card has a polling unit. An INEC office is not a polling unit. They should do more. People are going through a lot of things, a lot of hardship now. So you don't expect somebody from Udege, for instance, to spend transportation and come to INEC office, probably in Lafia. So they should do more. Go through the voters card and take them to polling unit. They can easily access those people from there.
If they don't collect the PVCs, it affects governance, because it shows that a lot of people have, disenfranchised themselves from the process totally.
Sources from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the state says thousands of unclaimed PVCs are at the commission offices across the 13 local government areas of the state, with the commission yet to begin issuance of the PVC to those who registered in the ongoing continuous voters registration in the state.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, scourge of monkeypox in Zamfara. Do stay with us.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve their sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels. Leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Thank you for rejoining us. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. A look at our top stories. Federal government links attack on worshippers in Owo to ISWAP fighters. And INEC reminds political parties on adherence to election timetable. Moving to other news now. The Nasarawa State House of Assembly says it has passed 13 bills into law and arrived at 11 resolutions between June 2021 and June 2022. Speaker of the Assembly, Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi, disclosed this in his remarks to mark the end of the third session of the 6th Nasarawa Assembly legislative year in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi's report is presented from our studio.
The Nasarawa State Assembly Speaker, Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi, who lauded members' high sense of dedication and patriotism will discharge their duties in the year under review, said their contributions have positively impacted on the lives of the citizens. He said records on the bill and resolution passed by the current legislature exceeded the previous assemblies.
From available record before me, it is evident that this Honorable House, within the period under review, passed a total of 13 bills, while 8 others are in various stages of passage. Let me quickly add that a total of 11 resolutions also saw the light of the day within the section. You will recall that during the inauguration of this assembly 3 years ago today, I assured the people of the state that we will strive to surpass the achievement of past assemblies. And from all indications, our performance as spelled out today, it is a clear testimony to the fact that we are indeed on course to doing just that.
He congratulated members that won in the recent conducted primaries in the states and advised those who lost to take it as the will of God.
That having acquitted themselves with such level of distinction, the principle of reciprocity should have resulted in honorable members being automatically endorsed as candidate of APC. However, as we are all men of faith, it is incumbent on us to accept what happened as the will of God. I would therefore urge those of us who lost the primaries not to lose hope, as the sacrifices which they made will not go in vain.
The Speaker also assured staff of the Assembly that issues relating to their welfare and working conditions will continue to receive the necessary attention.
And to education now, the new Vice-Chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Professor Simeon Bamire, has appealed to the federal government to intensify dialogue with the Academic Staff Union of Universities in order to end the ongoing ASUU strike. He urged the federal government to provide adequate funding for education, saying that universities need funds to be able to function optimally. Speaking with Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade, after his inauguration as the 12th substantive OAU Vice-Chancellor, Bamire advised students to use the period of the strike to learn vocational skills that will add value to them. Chairman of ASUU OAU chapter, Adeola Egbedokun, urged the new Vice-Chancellor to make the university better than he met it.
We are hopeful by God's grace, as we're still negotiating, and I believe that, there's nothing that goes out of dialogue. I believe that at the end of the day, it will come up well. Students should try as much as possible to be patient, but at the same time, try to learn skills. There are so many skills online that they can learn from. I have some students that have actually grown up as a result of this, really, in data analysis, in leadership skills, and all those, and that is like adding value Students are not supposed to come back to university, remaining the same. They should come with value addition, and that will help a lot. That ASUU should be given the opportunity to enhance the facilities within the system. And in enhancing the facilities within the system requires that adequate fund is provided for education.
So as far as we are concerned, as a branch of ASUU in OAU, our hope and wish is that the new Vice Chancellor will also be able to do the needful within the limit of the power and the limit of the resources that he has.
And from Ile-Ife to Lagos, where youths at Jakonde Estate Isolo on Thursday set ablaze over 20 commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada, after an accident involving an Okada man left one person dead. According to an eyewitness, the incident occurred after a rider plying a one-way route reportedly knocked down a pedestrian who died instantly. In retaliation, youths in the area hijacked motorcycles in sight and set them on fire. While reacting to the incident, the Lagos State Police spokesman, Benjamin Hundeyin, said the divisional police officer in the area, Folorunsho Gabriel, responded to the emergency immediately, rescuing the suspect from the mob attack and evacuating the corpse from the scene. Normalcy has returned to the area as security operatives are on the ground to forestall further mob action. One person has been killed while vehicles, shops and veterinary schools were burnt on Thursday morning after a fuel-laden tanker fell at the Polo roundabout area of Jos North Local Government Council of Plateau State. Spokesperson of the Plateau State Police, Alfred Alabo, confirmed the incident but could not ascertain the casualty figure. He said the command is making efforts to unravel the cause of the accident. The deceased, who was said to be the driver of the tanker, was discovered around the scene of the incident. Meanwhile, a driver and conductor have lost their lives while shops and property worth millions of naira were destroyed when a petrol tanker crashed in Zaria. The accident occurred in the early hours of Thursday at Dangmagaji flyover along Kaduna-Kano Expressway in Zaria, Kaduna State. Unit Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Zaria Abdurrahman Yakasai, confirmed the incident. The first set of 546 intending Muslim pilgrims were Thursday airlifted from Maiduguri International Airport to Saudi Arabia for the 2022 Hajj exercise. President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier charged the pilgrims to be good ambassadors of Nigeria in the Holy Land by conducting themselves in an orderly manner. Here's that report.
The annual pilgrimage to Mecca was suspended for the past 2 years due to the global outbreak of coronavirus. But this year's Hajj will see 43,000 pilgrims from Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Kogi, Niger, Nasarawa, Taraba, Kwara, Katsina, Benue, Jigawa, and Plateau State embark on the journey to Saudi Arabia. President Buhari, represented by Borno State Governor Umara Zulum, urged the pilgrims to exhibit good conduct and obey COVID-19 guidelines and to pray for Nigeria.
And conduct yourselves in an orderly manner. Hajj, being an act of worship, also entails hardship, which requires patience, great sacrifice, self-restraint and discipline. And therefore call upon you to obey all the COVID-19 protocols, as it is meant to protect you and other citizens throughout your stay in the Holy Land. May I therefore appeal to our intended pilgrims to be mindful of our predicament and remain prayerful for the attainment of peace in the country. I therefore wish all our intended pilgrims a safe flight and smooth Hajj exercise.
National Hajj Commission has made the necessary arrangements for your comfort. Do not hesitate to contact any of our officials for assistance when in need, because they are there to serve you. Safeguard your valuables and do not carry along any prohibited item into Saudi Arabia as a sign of honor to the host country.
The Hajj operation will begin with the inaugural flight of 547 pilgrims. Some of the passengers expressed delight and promised to be well coordinated at the holy ground.
kasan da muke ciki matsalar da muka samu Allah ya sa wore kuma duk abubuwan da yake kawo mana Allah ya daga mana kuma Allah ya kawo mana sauki abu kuma Allah ya sa a yi zabe lafiya.
Meanwhile, 3 airline operators are expected to airlift pilgrims to Saudi Arabia this year.
At least 200 farmers and small businesses in Bauchi State have benefited from the federal government's intervention fund, especially in agro-allied production to improve food security. The intervention is part of a national agripreneurship post-training scheme organized by the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMIDAN. Adamu Imam completes that story.
Some participants at the post-training scheme says the intervention has positively impacted them, as they can see the result of the intervention despite initial challenges.
We decided to go into wheat production, and we're able to, and we were luckily enough when the money was given, it was around the time for the season for wheat production. We embarked into wheat production, and we did it very well with the assistance from the extension officers and the knowledge we obtained here. There has been actually a great progress. And with that little we were given, it has now become something that we are now preparing to go into rain season farming with that money. And we should be grateful for all that has been taking place. And we are progressing the way SMIDAN is progressing in Bauchi and in Nigeria.
Different people used to come, you have to be patient with them because you can't please all people. But now, the SMIDAN taught us that we should be patient in everything that we are going to do because it's not easy to rule people.
The state manager, SMIDAN, and training coordinator Abdul Rashid Andrew expressed satisfaction that with the coming of SMIDAN, more cooperatives have been able to register their business with the relevant regulatory agencies, adding that such registration is the main criteria for accessing the intervention funds.
Training on the entrepreneurship development training in agro-allied. We form them into cooperatives, we train them, we give them all necessary support. So now we call them for feedback mechanism. We want to know the impacts of our intervention given to them, the improvement in their businesses, how the development and their challenges. That's the essence of this program.
Andu noted that SMIDAN will also assist the cooperative societies in securing loans from financial institutions in the state to boost their businesses. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And still on capacity building, Daily Trust Foundation has flagged off the training of over 20 journalists in Kano on budget tracking and investigation of public expenditure. Idris Jibrin reports that the exercise is expected to last for 3 days.
Drawn from the northwest region of Nigeria, this 3-day regional training of the Daily Trust Foundation is expected to expose participating media practitioners on budget tracking and investigating public expenditure across their respective places of primary assignments.
Program facilitators that we have lined up would educate journalists who ask which realm of the estate are you? Fourth. When you are educated, the general public or majority of the general public would be educated.
According to Kano State Government, the training of journalists on budget tracking and public expenditure could not have come at a better time than now, when the state is so much interested in seeing professional journalism practice across the country.
The choice of the theme of the workshop, I must say, is very timely, considering the unfortunate situation we find ourselves today in this country, where almost everything don't seem to be working as it should, just for the simple reason that some people somewhere for quite some time have not been doing the right thing.
Meanwhile, participants believe that the training will in no doubt assist them in discharging their duties of holding government and other public officials accountable.
In budget tracking, it's a big thing as far as Nigeria is concerned. Most government of these days, they hardly allowed the citizens to know about the level of implementation of budget in terms of development and in terms of the financial aspect of it. But when journalists are now equipped, people like me and you are now fully equipped, and we are able to lay down our hands on this vital information, I think it will be a great deal for the citizens of this country.
A situation whereby you have a document that is over 3,000 pages, and with a lot of figures. Figures are things that journalists ordinarily, because we are not science students, so ordinarily we run away from. But this training is going to, I hope the training is going to really expose us to how to convert those bulky documents and the data into simple language that we ourselves can understand and make the general public to also understand.
In the next 3 days, participants will be expected to fully understand how best to track budget and investigate public expenditures. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And from training, we now move to health. At least 100 people, mostly children under 11 years, have lost their lives to an outbreak of cerebrospinal meningitis, CSM, in Jigawa State. Reports from the state indicate that the outbreak, which was recorded last month, worsened in the Nigeria-Niger Republic border local government areas in those places. Findings indicate that a number of people lost their hearing as a result of the disease in the affected areas. The state epidemiologists in the Ministry of Health, Samaila Mahmood, confirmed the outbreak. In the meantime, the Zamfara State Ministry of Health says it is examining a suspected case of monkeypox disease in the state. The Commissioner for Health, Aliyu Abubakar, disclosed this at a media engagement by the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Here's that report.
The one-day media engagement is aimed at bringing media practitioners, partners and health personnel to brainstorm on how to increase awareness on preventing child killer diseases. Executive Secretary Zamfara State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Tukur Ismail, acknowledged the role of the media in effecting behavioral change, adding that with proper awareness, monkeypox does not stand a chance in the state. He disclosed that one of the major challenges the board is facing is non-compliance of parents to the immunization of their children and urged media practitioners to heighten publicity in the area of immunization of children.
Nobody can underscore or underestimate the role of media in terms of awareness creation of all organizations in the world. And whenever we want to make improvements in terms of service delivery, whatever it is, media is the springboard. One of the major challenges we are having is we have the vaccines, we have the eligible children, we have the staff. Unfortunately, the vaccines are not getting to the children. We still have issues with rates and misconceptions. We still have issues with child absence. We still have issues with non-compliance. We still have issues with, because we realize that sometimes when you hear an issue of child absence, it's a subtle way of non-compliance.
The Zamfara State Commissioner for Health, Aliyu Abubakar, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Aliyu Meikeo, said although there is no confirmed case of monkeypox in the state, the ministry has put in place measures to prevent the outbreak of the disease and other childhood diseases. He highlighted the successes recorded and plans to reach hard-to-reach areas with health services, especially those ravaged by insecurity in the state.
We had the outbreak in some of the places. We have the emergency operation center here in Zamfara State, and each of the NGO will have disease surveillance officers. We ask them to work with surveillance activities and we are on it. Whenever we have even a symptom, we quickly take the necessary things we're supposed to take. So we hope that by Allah will, we're not going to have this.
The forum was also used to call on residents of the state who have not yet received their COVID-19 jabs to go to designated centers to receive theirs, while intending pilgrims are expected to collect their doses of the COVID-19 in order to qualify for the 2022 Hajj.
In the meantime, members of the Nigerian Institution of Environmental Engineers, NIEE, and some schools in the FCT have carried out a cleaning exercise at the Usuma Dam in Buhari Area Council, Abuja, to promote a healthy environment. Members of the Nigerian Institution of Environmental Engineers chairperson, Linda Elesa, who supervised the exercise, said that it was to ensure a safe environment in the FCT. Elesa said the cleanup exercise was to commemorate this year's World Ocean Day with the theme Revitalization, Collective Action for the Ocean. Master David Chijobu, an SS2 student of Government Day Secondary School, Lute Alhaji, who spoke on behalf of other schools, said that the program had exposed them to better ways of keeping their environment clean.
Excited. I'm so happy that that activity was done because it is one of the key action points that was slated for this program, ocean cleanups. But we don't have oceans around here, so we went to the water body that is available, and FCT Water Board obliged us the Lower Usuma Dam, and you could see that there were a lot of plastics around there, not purposely put there by people, but brought in by wind and other weather forces. And if care is not taken, if they are not taken away from those locations, they will surely pollute that water. They will drop into that water. They may not enter in directly into our treatment plant, but they can flow into the streams, and from the streams it will flow down into the oceans, thereby causing ocean pollution at the end of the day. Please let us try to dissuade from that habit of dumping waste into the water body. It is very bad, and we should try to clean up around us and ensure that our environment is neat, so that we will not pollute the water bodies that will in turn pollute our oceans.
We just finished picking up the dirties from the dam, and it was nice making us to understand how to keep ourselves clean and the environment.
Commemorating World Ocean Day. And to business now, let's join Chamun Dabeng for business news.
Manufacturing firms have complained that they are unable to obtain loans at the Central Bank of Nigeria's 5% lending rate under its intervention scheme for manufacturing and other vital sectors. They claim that the loans have structural issues and that they are almost never accessed in banks at 5%. They went on to say that banks were more willing to lend to producers at official market rates. The structural framework of the CBN intervention, according to sectoral chairman of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria's gas users, Michael Ola Adebayo, has complexities that prevent manufacturers from accessing them through designated commercial banks. CBN's Director of Corporate Communication, Mr. Osita Nwanisobi, disagreed with the manufacturer's perspective. According to him, the intervention scheme for the industrial sector and others has disbursed more than 1 trillion naira. Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has carried its consumer education program to communities in Nasarawa State to inform them about their rights, obligations, and privileges as part of its commitment to enlightening telecom service users. The meeting was also held to inform telecom customers about the Commission's consumer-centric initiatives, which they can use to improve their telecom experience. The NCC's Director Zonal Operations Amina Shehu said the engagement was in accordance with the NCC's duty to consistently educate consumers on telecom service-related problems centering on improving their quality of service experience, which took place recently in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Participants were educated on a variety of topics including subscriber identity module SIM registration, consumer complaints, redress process originating from illegal deductions, and illegal sales of improperly registered cards, to name a few. The federal government and the World Bank are collaborating to promote innovation in schools and to encourage Nigerian students to participate effectively in skills acquisition programs. Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, Mr. Ben Bemgung, said the project Innovation, Development and Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills, popularly known as IDEAS Project, was fully implemented. Gung further stated that the Federal Ministry of Education and the World Bank jointly organized a national workshop in Gombe, the capital of Gombe State, to kickstart the project's implementation. The governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Inua Yahaya, was represented by the Commissioner for Education, Honorable Dauda Batari Maji, who.
And on the foreign scene, rescue workers have found no survivors in a rescue chamber deep inside a flooded zinc mine in Burkina Faso. The government and the mine owner said on Tuesday, all but extinguishing hope, that 8 missing miners could still be alive after a month. The Pekoa mine, owned by a Canadian firm, Trevally Mining Corporation, and located about 120 kilometers, 75 miles west of the capital, Ouagadougou, was abruptly submerged on April 16th after torrential rain fell unexpectedly during the country's dry season. There had been faint hope during a month-long search and rescue operation that the missing men might have reached the rescue chamber, which is stocked with food and water and located around 570 meters below ground. Distraught relatives of the missing men have been gathering every day at the site in the Sangui province, seeking solace from each other as they face the agonizing wait for news. Ukrainian President Zelensky on Thursday called for Russia to be expelled from the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, blaming Moscow for spurring the global grain crisis by invading his country. Zelensky told delegates at a Paris meeting of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, via video link, that there can't be any discussion on prolonging Russia's membership in the FAO. Active in 130 countries worldwide, the FAO's mission is to achieve food security for all. Ukraine's Black Sea ports usually export millions of tons of grain each year, but have been blocked since Moscow's late February invasion. Along with Western sanctions on Russia, which prevent Moscow selling much of its grain abroad, the blockade has sent food prices soaring and triggered warnings of famine in the Middle East and Africa. And sports now, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for Sports Update.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria on Thursday made a return to MK Abiola Stadium after their ouster from the World Cup qualifiers to redeem their image and launch a comeback as they beat Leon Stars of Sierra Leone to win the first competitive match under newly appointed coach Jose Pizarro. The Leon Stars opened scoring when William Troost-Ekong could not stop a pass headed home by Jonathan Morsey in the 11th minute to make it 1-0 for Sierra Leone. Super Eagles, via a pass from Moses Simon to Alexi Wobi, was converted by the Everton man to make it 1-1 in the 16th minute. The third goal of the match and second for the Nigerian team came on the 41st minute when Torino player Olaino made a long pass to connect Moses Simon, who laid it for Victor Osimhen to slot home and make it 2-1 for Eagles. John Caster's men from Sierra Leone will be hoping for a better performance in the second leg, although not a very good performance from Super Eagles. It is, however, a good result to survive the scare of losing at home. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Eugenia Abu. We thank you for watching. Good night.